former Prime Minister of Israel for a moment there. He's done another one of his videos where he does explainers. He likes doing these explainers in like 3 or 2 minutes or less. So here's his latest. Let's listen to it.
So what's the deal with Gaza? You know, a few days ago, someone asked me, why doesn't Israel just stop the occupation of Gaza and make the whole problem go away? Well, that's exactly the thing. In 2005, Israel did just that. Let me explain. This is the Gaza Strip. This is the state of Israel. This is Sinai and the Mediterranean. Up till 2005, indeed, Israel had soldiers within the Gaza Strip over here. And we also had Israelis living here in towns. But in 2005, we listened to what the world pressured us to do for many years. They asked us to do 4 things. Pull the army out, and we did. Pull out all Israelis, leave Gaza empty of all Israelis. We did that. In fact, we expelled them by force. Go back to the 1949 borders. This is the 1949 border before the Six-Day War. And they said hand over the governance of Gaza to the Palestinian Authority. And we did just that. We did all 4 things. And guess what happened weeks after we pulled out? And by the way, there was no blockade, no siege. Weeks after we pulled out, they began shooting rockets onto Israeli towns. All the towns around Israel. And for the past 18 years, they've shot tens of thousands of rockets from their own entity, from Gaza, from the place that we gave them. They shot at us again and again, and Israel went in once in a while to push them off. And then on October 7th of last year, they invaded Israel at multiple points, raped, murdered, and burnt families. And that's why the issue is not about occupation of Gaza. Israel does not want to occupy Gaza. The issue is that we have a terror organization that is governed from Iran and that wants to annihilate Israel. And they said that if we let go of them, they're going to invade again and again until Israel is gone. So the next time someone tells you that Israel needs to stop occupying Gaza, you know that they're not telling the truth.
So is he advocating for an occupation of Gaza or just a complete eradication of the Palestinian people so that the Jewish people in Israel are safe? Let's kind of rewind this just for a second. So he goes through this history lesson, which is not, it is accurate. He's actually fairly accurate with some of it. It is true that Israel withdrew from Gaza. Israel was in Gaza, occupying Gaza, very much like the West Bank. They had settlements throughout Gaza. Then they ultimately did pull out of Gaza. They did expel many Jewish Israelis by force from Gaza. They said, you've got to get out. These settlements have to be emptied out, showing that they can do it, by the way. They did it before. They could do it again when it comes to the West Bank. They just don't want to, but they can do it. So all of that is accurate. What is quasi-accurate in what he's saying is when he says there was no blockade. He says, we did all of that, by the way. We went back to the borders. We gave this all back to them. We expelled a lot of these settlements. We did all of that. And there was no blockade, by the way. And then they started shooting rockets at us anyway. That is actually not true. They were blockaded. It wasn't an official blockade that eventually developed where it was like written in stone. Everybody knew that it existed. It was what they do to the West Bank, which is they have these kind of intermittent blockades where they allow certain things at their discretion because it's a military blockade. So they decide on any given day, like in the West Bank, they'll decide on any given day whether or not the checkpoint will be closed down. So there you are trying to make it to school, you're trying to make it to work, or your wife's in labor and you're trying to get her to a hospital and you're expecting to go through this checkpoint and suddenly it's closed and they're telling you you've got to go 4 hours out of the way in a roundabout way and go through this other checkpoint that is now congested with tons of people, which is adding on time to your commute. You've got to go and do all of that. And they do this to these people randomly, without notice, without warning, all the time. They make their lives difficult and miserable on purpose. So they were doing, and it's not like, oh, this is always a checkpoint. This is always a blockade. It was just intermittent. They were doing that to Gaza from the time they withdrew. They started doing these sort of intermittent blockades until it became an absolute full-blown blockade on them shortly after. So they were not fully given sovereignty. They weren't allowed airspace. They weren't allowed access to international trade or ports, or the only thing they had was with Egypt. And then, of course, Egypt got a lot of money from the United States and was essentially strong-armed into blockading off Gaza on behalf of Israel in exchange for a lot of money. Egypt was easily bought off, still is easily bought off. So he's not he tells half truths that to make you think Israel's the good guys, leaving out a lot of the details.
All the towns around Israel. And for
Okay,
the
let's
past
see what he
18
says.
years, they've shot tens of thousands of rockets from their own entity, from Gaza, from the place that we gave them. They shot at us again and again. And
Okay, and then what he's skipping out on is that the fact that IDF soldiers would perch themselves up on hills and shoot inside of Gaza, shoot at little children. They constantly shoot across the fence. So he's saying they shoot rockets at us, but he's just completely leaving out the fact that they're shooting at them, that they're bombarding them. We've seen the flyovers, the leaflets get dropped, and then they start bombing. We've seen over the years them bombing buildings that house news organizations, families, young children. He's acting like it's just them. They're shooting rockets at us. Oh, okay. Well, we've got years and years of you bombarding them, bombing them, aiming at them.
Israel went in once in a while to push them off. And then on October 7th of last year, they invaded Israel at multiple points, raped, murdered, and burnt families. And that's why the issue.
The burning of families was done by the IDF. I think that's been admitted, understood. Hamas did not have weaponry that could do that. That was done by the Hellfire, right?
It's not about occupation of Gaza. Israel does not want to occupy Gaza.
Okay, Israel doesn't want to occupy Gaza. So he says this, but then what does he say at the end?
The issue is that we have a terror organization that is governed from Iran and that wants to annihilate Israel. And they said that if we let go of them, they're going to invade again and again until Israel is gone. So the next time someone tells you that Israel needs to stop occupying Gaza, you know that they're not telling the truth.
Okay, so now this is just admittance. So he's admitting now that Israel's plan is to take Gaza. This is Naftali Bennett, former prime minister of Israel. He's a high-up government official, and he's telling us right here, the next time somebody tells you Israel shouldn't occupy Gaza, tell them all of this. We must occupy Gaza. So they've told us now, this was something that Benjamin Netanyahu will say. He gives lip service and says, we don't want the land. We're not trying to take the land. This is not a land grab. But then they say we have to occupy and grab the land. Why? Safety and security. Of course, that's what they're going to say. And then they're going to say we have to eradicate all these. We're killing all these kids because of safety and security. And we're going to have to eradicate all these people because of safety and security. And then sure enough, at the end of the day, Gaza's part of Israel. That's pretty clear. So they're admitting it. They say it out loud. Let's move on to the next video here. The American Jewish Committee says anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism. Here it is.
There's outrageous amounts of anti-Semitism.
Anti-Semitism, anti-Zionism, anti-Jew.
Whatever the worst thing to be in society at the time, that's what the Jews are labeled as.
Colonizer, genocider.
That's modern anti-Semitism.
And that's a worldwide problem.
Anti-Semitism has no place in our world.
My name is Ariel Martin.
Elon Gold.
Jennifer Jason Lee.
And I stand with Israel.
And the Jewish people.
Join us.
Join us.
Join us.
Okay, so anti-Zionism is anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism. All of that is anti-Jew. They're saying it's a worldwide problem, right? Because the world is criticizing Israel right now because they are colonizers. They are committing crimes against humanity. So we're not allowed to say any of that. So basically, if you say anything against Israel at all, then you are anti-Semitic. I just think we should get rid of the word anti-Semite completely. I don't think there should be an anti-Semite word. It shouldn't be something that exists. I do want to read from you guys, this is the document, what is this? This is the HR document, HR 6090. It is the anti-Semitism bill that they put out there. Let's just go ahead and kind of take a look at this. Because this is interesting. They couldn't even define in this bill what anti-Semitism is, although that the American Jewish Committee just did. They said anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism. So that's your definition now. If you say anything against Israel, it's anti-Semitism. This bill, they had a hard time defining it. They also can't define what a Jew is. Let me just go ahead and read some of this to you. It says, this act may be cited as the Anti-Semitism Awareness Act of 2023. It is the sense of Congress that Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 prohibits discrimination on the basis of race, color, and national origin in programs and activities receiving federal financial assistance. While such title does not cover discrimination based solely on religion, individuals who face discrimination based on actual or perceived shared ancestry or ethnic characteristics do not lose protection under such title for being members of a group that share a common religion. So they admit right there that while the such title does not cover discrimination based solely on religion, which is what being Jewish is a religion. That's what it is. Individuals who face discrimination based on actual or perceived shared ancestry. So they're admitting that it might be perceived shared ancestry or ethnic characteristics do not lose protection under such title for also being members of a group that share a common religion. I take such issue with this. Then being Christian is an ethnic group because Christians celebrate Christmas and Easter, and Christians have, there's certain aspects of Christianity that seep into everyday life that created a culture, a shared culture amongst Christian people. I mean, you could say this about any religion, but it doesn't make it such. It doesn't make it an ethnic group. It doesn't make it a group that is a race. Certainly Jews are not a race. You have black Jews and you have very light Jews, and you can convert to Judaism. You cannot convert to being Asian or black. I look Asian. People know I'm Asian. They look at me. My mom for certain is 100% Asian. There's no hiding that. But I don't know if a person's Jewish until they tell me they're Jewish. They could literally be Italian. They could be Christian. They could be there's so many things that they could be other than Jewish, and I wouldn't know until they say I'm Jewish. So first of all, so they can't even define what a Jew is. I think that's an important definition that needs to be made if they're going to be passing laws that say you're not allowed to discriminate on the basis of something we're making up. I mean, we already have these codes that say you're not allowed to discriminate on the basis of race, color, and national origin. Okay. But that doesn't include religion. It says right now it doesn't include religion, but they're going to make it up, and they're making it up as they go. This is outrageous. We shouldn't allow them to do this. We should demand that there be a common definition for Jew. What is a Jew? There needs to be a definition to this if they're going to be making laws that hinder our lives and that infringe on our First Amendment rights. They better damn well tell us what the hell a Jew is, and they better damn well tell us what anti-Semitism is. And it can't be any criticism of a foreign country. If you criticize this particular foreign country, that is anti-Semitism, which is a form of racism and against our laws. Could you imagine if we made those laws about China or about Iran? And then we always hear this, well, Israel's the only Jewish nation. So you have a problem with Jews because you have a problem with the only Jewish nation. Well, Iran is the only Iranian nation. China is the only Chinese nation. Russia is the only Russian nation. I mean, what are we? Vietnam's the only Vietnamese nation. This is just insane. This is insane. It doesn't make any sense at all. So we're supposed to we're just being told that anti-Semitism is now criticizing Israel. Anti-Semitism is anything they want it to be. They can't even define it. They admit in this bill that they've passed through the House that there's really truly no actual protection for Jews, but they're just making it up as they go because they want to say, well, but Semites, which we shouldn't even be using that word anymore because most Jews who practice the religion of Judaism or who are culturally Jewish, even if they don't practice the Jewish religion, but they're culturally Jewish, like many are culturally Christian. Many of us celebrate Christmas, but we're not Christian. That's cultural Christianity. It is what it is, right? They can't define it. They're putting all these rules on us. We shouldn't even allow them to use the term anti-Semitism. It's not real. Most of these Jews are not Semites. Most of the Palestinians are Semites. I mean, we just got to get a handle on definitions. What they're doing when it comes to anti-Semitism and Jew, those two words that are unable to be defined, very vague, on purpose, in order to be weaponized against us, it's like racism, right? Or when they say, you spelled the person's name wrong, so you must be a racist when you wrote it on their Starbucks cup. They're just kind of anything and everything. You looked at me wrong, so that's racism. No, there has to be definite definitions of these terms that they're using and weaponizing and trying to rob us of jobs. They're trying to hinder college students from getting jobs. They're trying to censor people. They're trying to fire people. I mean, they're doing all these things in the name of things that we can't even define. I mean, this is insane. This is insane. Get a definition, make it clear. I think we should just kind of say there's no such thing as anti-Semitism. That, or if there's anti-Semitism, I mean, that's not, it would be anti-Judaism or Judeophobe, like Islamophobe. Wouldn't you be a Judeophobe if you're against the Jewish religion in particular, or Jews from we got to get a handle on this. We can't let them run around like this, making things up as they go, because they use it against us. They use it against us all the time. All right, guys, that is it for today's show. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for being here. I had a little bit of a background change. Hope you guys don't mind. It's kind of cute, so we'll keep it for now. All right, guys, we'll be back tomorrow with another great show, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. I love hearing from you. Share with me your thoughts, kim@kimiverson.com. If you've got, you want to tell me that you disagree, you agree, you have guest suggestions, you've got topic suggestions. I love hearing from you. Just email me, kim@kimiverson.com. Otherwise, guys, see you tomorrow. Same time, same place, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. Take care. Bye-bye, guys. Bye-bye. Hey, guys, thank you for watching this clip from the full Kim Iverson Show, which you could catch just by heading to that link down below, KimIversonShow.com. You can watch the full show from what you just watched, or you can catch the full show live Monday through Friday, live streams, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern at KimIversonShow.com. See you then. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Never miss an episode. Never miss a clip. Never miss a segment. Thanks, guys.